So, I built a house. This house, in fact. And I posted it on Reddit, where the user originalspacemonkey requested a tutorial. So I thought to myself, I like Minecraft, chances are that you like Minecraft, so let's make a Minecraft video where I make a tutorial about how to build that house, and give some general tips on how I do my building. So let's get going, shall we? I found quite a pretty place where we can do the building. It's just up here. And here it is. Lovely, eh? As a quick disclaimer, I personally prefer shaders over frame rate. That's why we kind of have maybe 30 FPS at the moment, but I think it's all worth it for how pretty this world looks. So the first thing that I always like to lay out is the frame. It kind of gives you a general idea of how the build's going to look when it's done, and also kind of lets you see the general gist and shape, and lets you kind of mold it as you go. So I'm building these frames with they're like 3 high, but they're also 3 or 5 wide. We use odd numbers for a very specific reason, because they're easier to detail, and also like windows that are 1 wide and like 2 tall, or generally in odd numbers tend to look better. So you can see I've done 5, a 3, a 5, a 3. I'm going to do another 3 wide frame here. I'll just keep working on this. The good thing about using frames is that it's modular. You can replicate. You can build different houses. You're just using the same kind of style and patterns that you do for each frame. It's getting towards nighttime. I should probably set the time to something a little bit more appropriate. Much better. So here's our frame. You can pause and build this if you want, but I thought I'd give you a second here just so you could build that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start building the interior walls here. So I'm just building a bunch of cobblestone here, wrapping all the way around the inside. Remember, one of the most important things to do when you build in Minecraft, you need to make sure that you have depth. See here, it's set back 1. That's vital for things to look interesting, because there's the primary difference between a house that looks bad and a house that looks good. Usually bad houses don't tend to have any depth, they're just flat planes. So try and avoid doing that in the future. Now I'm just going to punch in some windows, just 2 high in the middle of each frame. A door here. Okay. Now the next step, I'm going to put the kind of the gables, the underside of the gables, the walls there in. Now I have a specific way of doing this. I could basically go up in increments of 2, so you can see we have the frame here, but it's also inset 1. So we have the frame, which is the base level, up by 2, and then we go up by another 2. We'll do it on the other side as well, but it goes in as well. Up by another 2, and then up a final 2. Now you can leave this window however you like. We'll figure that out later when we get to it. So we're just replicating that on the other side as well, and also here on the front, a slightly smaller one, but still the same concept. Up by 2, up by 2. Also going to do one over here, and behind it over here. So we haven't really done much yet, but you can kind of see how this is going already. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in the interior frame, and now I just add some spruce on top of all the interior walls. Oops. Okay, there we go. And you can see now we've kind of got this skirting effect on the ceiling where it's kind of trimmed and not just straight up against the wood. And now basically just put the floor in. You can use whatever wood you like. I'm just going to keep using spruce because I have it in my hotbar. Or you don't even have to use wood. Looks like we're almost going to need another time set day again. There we go. Now this is kind of optional. This is a thing I do in the attics. I put for the frame in the attics, what I do is I will use stairs just to make it more spacious on the inside. But you can just see you're connecting the heights from this bit over to the other side, and just like that. And this is just so we can have the roof supported by something. Just adding slabs on this secondary gables just to almost done. Just got to do this little bit here. Can I just stop and say how pretty this sunlight looks on the deck here, with coming through the beams. These shaders are honestly just the best thing. So what I'll do now is I'll just put the roof in. So you can pick whatever color you like for the roof. I'm going to stick to how I did it in the Reddit post, which was I used grey. So you put the hard concrete powder on the edge. I don't know why, I just always do that. That's how I did it in the post as well. So that's the hard concrete done. And there's the concrete powder done. Now, the next step we're going to do is we're going to do the trim on the roof. So I'm going to use some stone bricks. Now, I'm going to try my best to explain this, but sorry if I don't do a very good job. So what we're going to do quickly, just for this, is we're going to put some logs on the facing outwards from each of our frame posts when we do our gables, which are, the arches here. Sorry, I should have clarified that earlier. And now what we do, stone brick, stone stair, backward stone brick, and then repeat. Like this. And then you put a backward stair onto the building that way. Then you come to the top here, stair, stair, and slab if you like to. Then we can kind of get this nice little peak on the end of it. Do the same for the other side. Brick, stair. I'm going to quickly run around and do that for all the rest of them. And now when you get to this corner, just kind of ignore the fact there's concrete there. Just do the same thing, just start there with the upside down stair. Now I'm completely aware I can actually turn the day cycle off, however I quite like watching the sunset while it happens. Look at that. Isn't that great? Now with that done, just add another bit of stairs here, and stone bricks, and you can just kind of make a little slope there if you want. It's not really compulsory, I just think it probably looks nice. Over here, stair, 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 sorry if I mean slabs, slabs, all along here. Okay, and there we go, that's pretty much the roof done except for some detailing, which I'll do right now. So, kind of adding some slopes to make it a little bit more, less regimented and structured is kind of the way to go with this. So, a way you can do this simply is just by placing a block of the matching material in each corner, like that. I'll do it on the other side here too. And you can see how that kind of just breaks up the monotony of like the straight lines and stuff. It just makes it a little bit nicer to look at. And now on this side where we have a much larger space to work with, we can make some quite larger ones, like we'll go maybe up double here. But then what we'll do is we'll extend it out on either side too. There, and that kind of makes that look a lot more interesting. We'll go on the other side here and do the same. So now we have an interesting roof with our structure. Next thing we're going to do is my favourite bit, the detailing. Now, one important thing to remember when you do details is depth, but you also need to remember that it also needs to be kind of simple but not too crowded, but also very intricate. So if I'm going to get some new spruce stairs and some trapdoors and some fences. And the reason I'm going to do this, I'm also going to get some grass. The reason I'm going to do this is because if you can just see here, the spruce planks are almost the same color as the oak logs, and that kind of makes that a little bit cool. So then we'll add the grass here. I'll just do this for one, just so you can see. So you got the grass and the trapdoor to make like a little flower pot. I'm just going to put little stairs on each side, and then again over there, a fence. Now I can't push this enough to you guys. Don't be afraid to try out new things when you decorate. Make sure you use fences and trapdoors and stuff, because like, who would have thought that you would use trapdoors to make such a pretty arc as you can see here? It's really quite pretty, and I think it looks good. And then for the smaller one over here, we'll do a similar thing, just kind of cut it back a bit. So we'll put the same stairs here and there, here and there, here and there, and then more fences. And there you go, you have the 5 and the 3 pattern. Oh, although of course we can't forget to put glass in. I'm going to use... why don't we just use regular glass, that's fine. Now over here, I'm going to add a spruce stair, just to add some more depth, because depth is the best. Another crucial thing with depth before I finish off the rest of this is you can use stairs of the same material to make something look more... Okay, maybe not next to windows like that. What you can do is you can add cobblestone stairs in places around the build, and you can see it kind of looks like there's been some chips out of the wall, and that looks quite nice, I think. You can also add some andesite into the wall because it looks quite like cobblestone, and there you go. That's kind of an example of a detailed wall. This is the kind of thing that you need to do. So detailing walls that they're like blank and plain. So what I'll do is I'll come inside, and I'll change out some of these cobblestone blocks with andesite. I'm just going to add some of that effect that I mentioned earlier on the wood here. Well, another thing you can do is you can grab your stripped spruce logs and put them here for even more kind of detail. This whole idea of breaking up like solid blocks of colour and texture, chuck some of that in here, some decoration just to make it look cooler. Now we're going to add some oak trapdoors. Never ever forget flowers. Now you could just leave the top like this if you're happy with it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some dark oak planter boxes up here, and then you've got a nice little detail here. Now we have a much bigger window here, we have more room to play around with. There, now we have a very tall planter box here, so we can put another flower. Next step is the chimney. Now we're going to get lots of stone bricks for this, so we're going to make it a bit deeper. Now this chimney is a 3x3, it's quite big. Now what we're going to do here, we're going to add one last layer of this, but then we're going to put one block in the middle, and then we're going to wrap it around, and then we're going to do the same above it with upside down stairs. And there we go. We've got a chimney. What we're going to do is we're going to have to detail it too. Add some cracked bricks. Don't forget the sides as well. And we're also going to do some mossy bricks as well. I'm only going to build an exterior for this video, however if you guys want to see an interior as well, I can make a video for that as well. Now let's get started on the garden. So first thing, we need a garden path, of course. So we're going to use some gravel, cobblestone, buttons, pressure plates. Then just fill half of it with cobblestone, the other half with gravel, and then just chuck some buttons on it, wherever you like. Some pressure plates too. Going to have some leaves on the sides here. There you go, got some 2 short hedgerows. We're going to get some of these. Just chuck some of those in there. Next thing, let's make a veggie garden over here. Get some fences. Oh, first thing we should do, add more leaves. Add bushes around every corner. There we go, got some bushes now. Water bucket, so the crops can grow. Chuck it here. Add a fence around it. Not all the way though. And now the trick with making pretty gardens, veggie gardens, is you don't want to have just one type of veggie. So you want to have wheat seeds, beetroot seeds, carrots, potatoes, or any mixture of these really. You can just chuck them randomly. Get the garden growing quickly. There we go, doesn't that look lovely? And on the other side you can add another veggie garden over here. Maybe instead you could add a flower garden. Just chuck him here. There, now we have quite a pretty little garden. And now the final step for the exterior of this house is going to be quite an interesting one. I pick one of the bushes down the bottom here, and I like to grow it up and over the roof. Get rid of that. Kind of hugging this chimney here. Usually kind of comes down and hangs this way. You can add more, I'm probably going to. I always like to add lots and lots of leaves. There we go, we got 2 there. And connecting with that. We have no door. Hang on, let's quickly fix that. So I think that's going to do it for this tutorial. Let me know what you liked. Just to say, I am not a master builder, unlike some people showing up on the screen right now. Yeah, if you like this tutorial, let me know. If you want to see more, let me know. If you have any suggestions on how I could improve this, or if you have any suggestions for another tutorial I can make, also let me know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, and one last thing I wanted to say before I go. If you guys would like to see a survival series, let me know. Anyway, see ya.